You are stretched out in bed when it strikes again. Something you said long ago, a chance you let slip by, a moment when courage was possible, but you stayed silent. Your gut sinks, your thoughts tense. Suddenly you are wide awake, trapped inside a memory that holds far more power than it should. You try to shove it aside. You remind yourself that there is no point obsessing over what cannot be undone. Yet the thought drags you back, looping as if it has a will of its own. You know it will not change anything. Still, your mind keeps replaying a past that refuses to remain where it belongs. Some people carry these moments for a lifetime. Regrets turn into burdens around their throats, growing heavier year after year. Others, though, learn to transform regret into insight instead of self-punishment. They learn to accept who they once were. So why does the mind haunt us with choices we can never redo? And why do some escape while others remain imprisoned? To understand regret, you must understand its original purpose. For early humans, regret was essential for survival. If someone ate the wrong berry and became ill, their brain needed to remember that mistake vividly. Pain carved the lesson into memory. Regret was not cruel, it was useful. But that system evolved for simple, immediate dangers. Modern life is anything but simple. Now we regret relationships, careers, moments of bravery we never acted on. These choices are layered, emotional, uncertain, yet the brain treats them with the same urgency as a life-threatening danger. A missed chance feels like a threat. A wrong decision feels like injury. And so regret continues to burn long after the danger has passed. Psychologists separate regret into action and inaction. Action sting quickly, inaction cuts deeply. Studies repeatedly show that short-term regret centers on what we did, while long-term regret focuses on what we failed to do. Inaction leaves the mind drifting through endless what-ifs. Because you never know how it would have turned out, your brain invents flawless scenarios to punish you with. This is counterfactual thinking, the creation of alternate realities. The job you declined becomes life-defining. The person you never confessed to turns into a perfect partner. The city you never moved to becomes a symbol of who you might have been. None of these imagined lives face hardship, disappointment, or real-world complexity. They are polished fantasies your mind creates to fill the void. And the more painful your present feels, the more seductive those imaginary versions become. Sometimes regret is deserved. You hurt someone. You went against your values. You made a choice you wish you could undo. But even when regret is justified, what matters is how you respond to it. Remorse moves you ahead. It says, I can learn from this. Rumination keeps you frozen. It says, I must suffer for this. Remorse builds strength. Rumination drains it. Your mind often persuades you that refusing to forgive yourself is noble. That feeling awful proves you care. But self-punishment is not morality, it is avoidance. When you are busy despising your former self, you do not have to confront the responsibility of who you are now. Social media intensifies this pain. You watch people who seem to choose perfectly. You see curated highlights, effortless success, polished lives. So when you make a mistake, it feels worse than wrong. It feels like evidence that you are falling behind. And with every old post, every photo, every digital trace you cannot erase, you are forced to relive versions of yourself you have already outgrown. Those who free themselves from regret grasp something crucial. The past exists only in memory, and memory is not a recording. It is a story that shifts every time you revisit it. Your regret is not about what happened. It is about how you interpret it now, and that interpretation can change. Research by psychologist Kristin Neff shows that Self-compassion, not self-criticism, produces real growth. When you treat yourself with the same kindness we offer others, your brain relaxes enough to learn. Shame blocks growth. Compassion invites it. This aligns with narrative psychology. You are always rewriting your life story. The person you were then is not who you are now. They had less experience, less understanding, less awareness. They made the best choices they could with the tools available at the time. You are judging a younger version of yourself with wisdom they had not yet earned. Nietzsche spoke of amor fati, loving one's fate, not merely accepting the past, but embracing it as necessary. Every decision, including every mistake, shaped who you are becoming. Change one moment, and everything after it changes. You would not be you. Persistent regret often points to something deeper. People feel it most strongly when they feel stuck in the present. Regret becomes the explanation for current unhappiness. If only I had chosen differently, life would be better now. But this is rarely true. Regret becomes a shield that spares you from taking responsibility for the life you are living today. Breaking free requires what psychologists call temporal distancing. View your past self as a separate person, not as your current identity. Treat them as you would someone you care about. You would not shame them. You would not demand perfection. You would not punish them forever for what they did not know. You must also grieve the lives you did not choose. Regret is grief. Grief for the life that never happened. Grief for the version of you that no longer exists. Grief hurts, but it moves. Regret does not. Regret loops. Healing begins when you allow yourself to feel the sadness instead of replaying the narrative. Existential philosophy reminds us that choice always exists in the present. You do not live in the past. You do not live in the imagined lives your mind invents. You live here. You live now. And now is where you decide who you become next. You can feel regret without becoming it. You can remember a mistake without letting it define you. You can say, "I wish I had done that differently," and still move forward. That is clean regret, the kind that teaches. Dirty regret tells you the mistake is who you are, that you are broken, that your future is sealed. That is the story you must stop repeating. In a culture obsessed with perfection, letting go of regret is an act of rebellion. It is choosing growth over punishment, compassion over shame, the present over the past. So if regret has ever ambushed you at 3 a.m, remember this. Your brain is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to protect you, using an outdated system that no longer fits your life. Regret is not happening to you. It is happening within you. And that means you can change the narrative, not the past, but the story you tell about it. That is the psychology of regret. Not something to erase or suppress, but something to transform. Because regret reveals what you care about. It shows what matters to you. It points to what you value and who you want to become. The real question is not how to repair the past, but how to live now so your future self will be grateful. Forgive who you were. Respect who you are. That is how regret becomes a teacher instead of a tormentor.